is not an answer as much as a question that I rolled around, not so much when I wrote the book, but now that I'm out promoting the book. And I really don't know what the answer is, but I asked the question of, so, very often the religious issue with aid and dying or death and dignity, or to your point, just choosing when you're going to peace out, is the religious overtones that it is suicide and that you shouldn't take yourself off the planet before God decides that it's your time to go. And my question is always like, so what is the responsibility of medical professionals then, right? If there is this plan and this sort of, whether you believe it's God's plan or whether you believe it's some ebb and flow of the universe, let's be honest, like there's, I could get a rock falling on my head on this island, or it could fall like a centimeter behind me and I'm going to be fine, right? Like things like that are chance or fate or whatever you believe. I tend to think of it as like an ebb and flow of the universe. Yeah. But whatever you believe that thing is that keeps you sort of like functional and around, and whether you get cancer or you don't, like there's nothing you get to decide that says whether that happens or not, unless you believe it's some of the other causes. But anyways, but so my question is always like, so what is the responsibility of a doctor? At what point can you experiment and help someone live an extra day? And how do you know what the value of that day really is or is going to mean? And who can really, who can decide that? Because there's all sorts of issues that happen, especially with cancer, where people will go into a coma, right? And you really don't know if they're going to come out or if they're not. And so I don't know, that's why I said it's certainly not an answer, but more of a question of like, and this is why one of the many reasons I couldn't be a doctor, because I couldn't handle the pressure of these decisions that are huge, and so I don't know. I certainly think that on our island, medicine and care have to be a part of it. I just don't know what that solution is. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts? I think it just comes down to, at least in like the vision kind of I have of the society, is people are to be really well conditioned to be, understand that most things are their choice, right? And they'll be better decision makers because they're taught how to be better decision makers. This is one thing we do really bad in our school system, education system, is we don't really teach people about how to make the best decisions. We tell them what we think the best decisions are. Go to school, get married, the typical whatever. But sometimes the best decisions are actually making a mistake and just helping people learn from the mistake, right? Yeah. Or whatever it may be. But I think a big part of that is just helping people make better decisions. And like I think you're saying, also educating the doctor really well on how to give everyone the most information on what could happen, what doesn't, which they may do now, right, to an extent. But helping frame it in the right way where it's also not like, I don't know, terrifying or something. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right way to put it. In my first edition of the book, I had some like really aggressive opinions from Willow on doctors in where she was going to, and mostly it's oncologists, right, that don't have the ability to, and in states that don't have aid and dying, they don't talk about, if you just want to ride this out, I'll put you on some opioids, and then when you get really bad, I'll overdose you with morphine. Nobody says that. Yeah. That's ultimately what ends up happening at hospice, a lot of hospices and stuff like that. And there certainly are patients that get frustrated by that, what feels like a slightly dishonest and almost perverse kind of medical culture, which attempts to keep you alive as long as possible. Like, that's the only variable anybody cares about. How long can you live with this thing? Right. Like, you're only supposed to live with pancreatic cancer 6 months, but oh shit, you lived a year. Yeah. Good job, and it makes everyone feel better to make you live longer. Yeah. And so certainly terminal patients do talk about that and how frustrating that is when they don't want, and nobody wants to make you feel bad that, I don't want to do that experimental treatment. Yeah. I don't want to take chemo. Like, I don't want to do that stuff. Yeah. It seems painful and awful. And like, I don't want to do it. You're definitely recommended, from what I heard, to live as long as you possibly can. Right. And sometimes I think a lot of the reason those people are living a lot or trying to live longer isn't necessarily for themselves. Yeah. It's for the people that their loved ones. Totally. They're living for those people. Which, is that the right way to do it? Like, does it make sense to go through that pain for someone else? Yeah. Right? And I'm selfish, so I don't think so. Right. And I think too, it's just, you should do what works for you and let those people, because in our society we're told like you should be selfless and you should do almost everything for other people, but to an extent it's like we need to learn how to do things for ourselves, not treat people poorly. That's a big part of it too. Yeah. But also understand that everyone has to deal with their own emotions themselves. You can't control anyone else's emotions or how anyone else feels, but we also need to educate people better on how to deal and manage their own emotions. Yeah. Right. And I was actually, another thing I was looking at is a letter from Seneca to a lady he was talking to who was grieving over her son, and she'd been grieving for years because he'd left and she just couldn't get over it, and was just grieving. Essentially, it's like finally like, I'm going to give this to you the hard way. Like, and this is either going to solve your grief or you're going to live with this forever.
Yeah.
And you got to pick. So he framed it in this really interesting way where he said, okay, here he gave her these two scenarios. One lady, her son died and she just grieved and couldn't get over it and just lived this miserable, sad life because she couldn't get over the fact that her son died, right? And then there's this other lady whose son died, right? But she, got sad, did her grief, when the son died, and then let it go. And whenever someone mentioned her son, she just felt like happiness and joy because she hooked onto the memory of her son and all the good parts of it that happened when they were together, right?
Yeah.
And so by framing it this way, the passage that I read was an article, so it didn't actually say what the lady ended up doing because it's a letter to her. I don't know if they even had the response, but framing something in that kind of way, I think could really help in the sense of, hey, you can live out this grieving life, which isn't helping you at all. Or you can say, oh, I had a great time with them. I love the memory of them. I'm going to hold on to that. And that's going to be how I'm going to live the rest of my life, is enjoy and happiness and remembering them in a positive light, which is what they want you to do anyways. They don't want you to be sad about them.
Yeah.
They want you to be happy, which is why I think one of the ways I want to go, for my funeral, I honestly want people, and I got this kind of from Nick Swartzen, who's like, for my funeral, I want people to have a giant party, have a great time, hang my body up, and like make me a puppet that's like dancing with everybody. I want something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe not make me a puppet. I'm going to be a little more but like throw a celebration, like have a good time, and be a little sad if you want. You don't have to be sad. Yeah. But like have fun for me. Yeah. That's what I want you to do. I want you to have a good time and like celebration of hopefully all the good things I did in the way back to people.
Yeah. So I totally agree. I think that I think the only other thing that I struggle with around the concept, because I say the same thing, right? Sure. Don't be sad for me. Yeah. And like, my aunt died. So I mentioned this, like, I'm the youngest on both sides of my family. So like, I have a lot of people a lot of sentences that start with, so this person died and this was blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So my aunt died in, December. She died on Christmas Eve. And, I went to her funeral up in Prescott, and, she would have said the same thing, like, don't cry or whatever. But I mean, I sat there and like, bawled, and I think the thing and so my point around this is that I think it's easy to say don't cry for me, but I think that when you talk about educating people around grief and all of those things, like, I don't necessarily, I don't think that we can be a society where crying is seen as bad either, or that if it takes you a while to get to the place where memories don't make you sad, they make you happy, that's okay too, because it's super sad that you're at first, right, that you're not going to see this person anymore and all those sorts of things. So, I love the idea of a celebration. I also think that, like, this is a total tangent. I'm so sorry, but it just came to my mind. Go ahead. Which is that, so my second book is about Native American culture, and I have always loved the way that Native culture is not even just American, but South American, or just really like anyone besides Western culture, even Asian cultures today, like, everyone respects their elders so much, and I think that that's another core concept to everything that the society does, whether it's related to death or education or, whatever political policy, that you just take the things that other people that are elders have experienced and you learn from them constantly, and you sort of drain from them all of this knowledge. I think that maybe makes death a little less scary too, right? That you get to look forward to being so old. God, this is another thought, right? Like, the other thing that fucks people up is, like, being old. I feel like in our culture, it's this thing that everyone's trying to avoid, right? Like, you have billionaires trying to literally say that, like, they're not going to die. Like, they're trying to cure death. They don't think that it's a constant. They think that it's a manipulatable factor in the world. And you have women with Botox and all of these things that are like, oh, looking like you're 20 is the desirable thing. And, like, I totally disagree, right? Like, I used to say to my mom when she started graying, I was like, you should just let it go. Like, why are you dyeing your hair? Why are you trying to be this, like...
Fuck that shit. Right?
Yeah, like, what's the problem? Yeah. And then, of course, I started graying. I was like 20. I was like, well, I'm going to start dyeing my hair. This is just ridiculous. But no, I think that we need to be a culture that celebrates that lengthy process of living, learning, delegating that learning to other people so that they can go out and do the same thing, and that maybe that will help too. I don't know. I feel like that was just a total tangent of like 4 different things.
No, I love it. There's a couple things there. The one that I might forget the other ones on my head. The one that I definitely wanted to mention, which is a really funny comment, was I was listening to the Duncan Trussell podcast. I don't know if you know that is. probably don't. He's a hilarious comedian, but he's a real spiritual guy. He's a pretty good podcast. He was talking with a friend, and they're talking about that topic of all these billionaires and people, and how in the future, like, most people are going to be, you're going to have these like 300-year-old people that are looking like they're in their 20s.
Yeah.
It's like, that's going to be tough for 20-year-olds. But he's like, he made this comment that I thought was interesting. He's like, maybe at that point, one of like the cool things to do will be to look old. It's like, dude, you're looking really bad right now. Like, you look really old. Look at those wrinkles. You're looking great.
Yeah,
look at all those, like, I need to get some wrinkles like that. Mine are coming in as well. I need to smoke some more cigarettes, feel more stress.
Yeah.
And like, maybe look at these stress cubicles where you just go and you get really stressed, like age a little bit, and then come out and look like
I can see the time on your face. Yeah, I love it.
But yeah, like that is going to be interesting when like death is literally becomes a full choice where we may be cured, we've cured aging at least, right? And it's like, unless, you get in like a car crash or something, or you're pretty much going to be living as long as you want.
Yeah.
And if we reverse aging, that's going to be an interesting time where, how do we, like, you don't know how old someone is at that point. And people love that right now. Something kind of bothers me sometimes. Like, so how old are you? And then you make these like quick judgments based on your age.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, hold on, like, let's slow down a little bit there. You know? And I get it gives like a frame for a person, but sometimes it's very false.
People love shortcuts.
Yeah, we do. We love cognitive biases and heuristics. They help us navigate the world. They used to help us a lot when we were animals. Cavemen. Yeah. We were like, getting attacked by a
lion. You're like, that thing's big and hairy. I'm going to go this way.
That's a pattern. Let's get out of here. CCT. But yeah, I mean, it's interesting. Let me see what the questions I got here.
So, speaking of the, so do you watch TV?
Yeah.
Did you watch Altered Carbon?
I did.
So that's that big quandary, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you are rich enough to live forever, should you? And it's the same thing with, Jurassic Park and the whole idea of like, you guys were also worried about if you could, nobody stopped to say, should you create fucking dinosaurs? And so like, it's like, even if you could live forever, like, should you ever? And I guess that's, my stance on that is 100%. Fuck no, you should not live forever. And that's why, I'm much more in the camp of, it's kind of like I mentioned, I like the idea of missing something, right? Like, I think that's part of what makes things great is when you miss them. If you ate ice cream all of the time, it would lose its luster. Like, if you could eat ice cream every day and not gain any weight or whatever other bullshit thing people are worried about, like, would you? No, because it all tastes the same, and you just want variety. And it's that scarcity and that almost like dubious nature, I guess, of like sweets that makes it the fun. If you tried roller coasters all day, like, would you? No, you wouldn't. You'd get bored.
Yeah, I've done this 1,000 times.
Yeah, so I believe that scarcity and missing something is part of what makes life super cool.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I mean, I've definitely limited my sugar intake significantly. But what I try to do is I try to make it a reward. Yeah. So then, like, I'll not eat, any sweets for an extended period of time. But, like, if I do, like I set a goal and I hit my goal, and I'm like, oh, I need to get a cupcake. Yeah. And then I go, I'm excited for the cupcake. And I'm like, ooh, I'm going to go get my cupcake.
We're all like 4-year-olds.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, totally. And then I eat it, like, oh, it's so good. It tastes so much better when you've, like, resisted it. Totally. And, like, held off. And then you desire more. It's more of, like, it's just so much more, I want to say luscious. I don't know if that's a good word for it, but. Yeah. I totally agree. It's like, I mean, it's why long distance relationships don't work, but they're like so hot. Because you just sit there pining after someone for a really long time. I just want to see them.
Yeah. And then that's why when you do see them, it's like this aggressive thing. And that's why, regular life can be so fucking boring. Because you wake up, you go to work, you do the same thing every day, you see the same people, you eventually, no longer appreciate the little things that once were great that person did. And that's in any relationship, right? In friendships, right? Like, you see someone on a regular basis every Saturday and they bring you a flower. The first time it's like, oh, that's so cute. And the second you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much. And by like the fifth time you're like, oh, there's my flower.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like
the flower. You start getting annoying, like, all right, cut it out, the freaking flower.
Yeah. They're all over my house now. Yeah. So it's just one of those things where, like, variety is the spice of life is the same for a reason. And yeah, I think I don't think anyone should live forever. Yeah. Especially asshole billionaires.
That's right. Yeah, and that's the thing too. So I'm in like an in-between place, right? So I think
billionaire.
Yeah. But with living forever, right? I think so. It's really bad if you have people that can't get over their own stuff and like live in a compassionate way and they're really kind of got their stuff figured out. If you love those people just living forever doing like more bad, like that's a problem. But then it also gives some people more of an opportunity to like figure their shit out. And also if you have some like people doing amazing things that need just like 100 more years to really figure it out and like get that thing to where it needs to be. And if that person dies, it's probably not going to get there. Like that could do a lot of good for the world too, right? But at the same time, like I'm agreeing with forever is